BRUCAST is back, baby.
Nowadays, it's totally acceptable to
Mhm.
have 8 divorces, 2 divorces, 3 divorces. Is not a problem anymore. So,
Yeah. No, I don't think we are, but I think that this is the implication of what Peterson is talking about,
I
right?
see.
And
Okay,
on this, yeah.
I got it. Okay, okay,
Hmm.
okay. All right. So going back to modern masculinity, so we
Hmm.
don't have a name for it yet. Let's call it modern masculinity.
Sure.
Men, so historically speaking, let me formulate my question.
Yeah. Hmm.
Historically speaking, men always had a role. He was the provider, right?
Hmm.
But nowadays, because women can work, they have way more autonomy. They can vote. It's a completely different era. Men are start to question what is their role in the relationship or the role in society as a man.
Yeah.
So one of those questions is, so I'm not the provider. Who is the provider? What would be the other questions that men are asking themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think this is exactly what Peterson is great at. He identifies those problems. This is
Okay.
definitely it. Because like you say, in the modern world, women can provide for themselves just fine. And similarly with the role of men as protectors, right? They
Protectors.
would like
Okay.
to see themselves as protecting us from various sorts of dangers. I wrote an article at some point about this, just looking at like what are the actual chances that you will get attacked by, I don't know, the sort of things that men like to think of themselves as protecting us from.
A
So
bear.
really serious, yeah. So like, I don't know, attacks of vicious beasts or attacks of terrorists or like a natural disaster or something like this, or even street violence, that sort of stuff, right? And the thing is that, say for street violence, that's the most likely thing. But those other things is just like you've got some like 0.0000001% chance, that this will happen to you in your lifetime. So if we have all of those men training really hard to protect us from things that never happen, there's just lots of wasted potential, right? But there's lots of other things that can still happen that are much more dangerous. And I think that it is. I don't think that men as protectors and providers is completely defunct. It's gone. I just think that men should really rethink, and this is what I mean, that men should really sit down and think about, what it means to be a man. Men should rethink what is it that they're protecting from, and what is it that they're providing. Because I think that there's plenty of things that people struggle with today that they need protection from. I don't want to protect my partner from bear attacks and from, Vikings raiding our flat or something like this, right? But when their boss is an absolute bitch to her and she comes back home feeling horrible because she's been really treated really badly at work or something like this, then I feel like I need to protect her, but I don't want to like it's not like I'm gonna go to her job and punch her boss in the face, right? That's not the sort of protecting I'm going to do. No, I'm going to protect her by providing a space in which she can regain her strength, right? I'm going to protect by rebuilding her strength so she can go back. I'm going to protect her to, develop the sort of skills that the next time she goes there, she can actually protect herself. Yeah. If, for example, a friend of mine is having a, I know, anxious mental breakdown or something like this because of whatever, things are happening in their life, or is depressed or something like this, I'm going to, talk to them and protect them from their own brains that are trying to spin horrible stories in their brains, right? I'm going to protect them from, bad thoughts. I'm going to protect them from like horror scenarios that are playing in their minds and these sort of things. So these are the sort of things that like they happen every day. Like bear attacks don't happen every day, but those things, they happen every day. So if you want to be a protector, I think it's useful to think of it in those terms. What are the actual dangers that people are facing that you can help protect them from? But it's not only this. It's like so many people are suffering from, you know, real social difficulties that they find themselves in, ranging from poverty, right, to some sort of, I don't know, mental illness or other things like this, and they need help. They need protection. They need protection from, exploitative corporations. They need protection from, I know, difficult life circumstances. They need protection from people who would exploit them in one way or another, right? And men can absolutely be protectors in this sense. Protect people from, yeah, corporate greed. That's the sort of thing that happens every day.
Yeah, but come
If
on.
you if you think of also the sort of things that we've been talking about with respect to AI, right, or with respect to the technological changes, well, we should absolutely protect each other and protect the world from those things. We should protect them ourselves from really bad decisions on a potentially global scale being done for the sake of earning a few more bucks on your AI. And how do we protect people from this? Well, we become activists. We go and work with the government to develop laws that protect us from this. We develop, some sort of social movements that act against this and that sort of stuff. And I understand that none of those things have, the glory of dashing into a scene with a sword to save a princess from a dragon or something like that. But just be real, like protect people from things they actually need protecting from. So I think that's like one thing that is potentially like something for people to think about.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So modern masculinity, in your eyes, um, modern men could ask more what it means to be a man, and one of the things could be your role as a protector on society or in a relationship.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's one of those things. But like I think that at the end of the day, every one of us needs to ask himself those questions. And like going back to Plato that we mentioned before, and so Plato wrote all of those dialogues, and the main character in the dialogues is Socrates. And Socrates says at some point that an unexamined life is not worth living, and that you should know thyself. You should really think about who it is that you are and examine your life and think what it is that you want in your life, what brings meaning to your life, and all that. And I highly encourage all men to do exactly that. Because I think that we are playing from those scripts in which what defines us is that somebody somewhere millennia ago said that men should be protectors and providers. And like right now, maybe it's not what really befits the modern world, right? Maybe it's not what you want. And the question is, what is it that you want? And I really like I don't know, do you like rock and punk music? Do you know Rage Against the Machine?
Mm-hmm.
They've got this fantastic song "Killing in the Name of," and like that's it's like the whole last line of it is just like "fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me," and it's this like rebellion against people just telling you how you should live your life. Well, fuck them. Don't live your life the way other people tell you to live your life. Decide how you want to live your life yourself. It's like, why should it be that we have those like received models of how to be a man, and that we should like tick those boxes, and if you tick those boxes, then you're a good man, we will approve of you, you'll climb the lobster ladder and whatever else. And it's like, no, like think of it like, what do you actually want for life? Because chances are that if you tick all of those boxes, you will still end up unhappy because you will just really well fulfill things that don't make you happy, that you don't care about, that you just do because someone told you to do and not because they are actually meaningful to you. And I think it's so important that men actually stop and try to know themselves, like Socrates would say, know yourself, know what it is that works for you. And maybe what matters for you is that you really give something to your community by, for example, yeah, fighting corporate greed or something like this. And there's so many other ways to be a man that are kind of tied to traditional masculinities, being a great leader, right? Being someone who sacrifices himself for the good of other people, that sort of thing. Being like the sort of person who is a shield against adversity. Being the sort of person who shares his wealth and is really generous with other people. These are fantastic ways to be masculine. And I think one of the better ways as well that men should think of, like how to be a good masculine man these days, is to take a lot of those traditionally masculine virtues, such as strength, for example, or like confidence, or honor, or authority, things like this, and share them. Don't keep them for yourself, but find a community that you can lead, that you can be a part of, and that you can also teach how to have those things. Don't be strong for the sake of your strength. No, teach other people how to be strong. Teach other people how to be confident. Teach other people, how to have honor and other things like this.
Simon, that's beautiful, and I couldn't agree more. But I need to play devil's advocate for a second here.
Uh-huh. Go,
Why
go.
why would you limit those incredible qualities, being generous with your money, trying to help the world be a better place, to
Hmm.
men? So you mentioned several times this
Hmm.
is what would help men maybe become better men. But why? But the way I see it, they also apply to women.
Absolutely. I would not disagree with that at all. In fact, I think that like this is exactly what I mean by sharing as well. Just say, those are not things that like, you don't need to have a penis in order to have honor, right? You can have honor regardless. You don't need, or to have strength or anything else. Or clearly you don't need it to provide and protect, right? Because women can provide for themselves just fine, and they make great police women as well, who do great protecting. So clearly that is all absolutely possible, and that's exactly I think what I mean as well when I say that like those things have been traditionally associated with men, not necessarily fairly, but that's what it was. But right now, the great thing that modern men can do is take all those things that have been, traditionally masculine and actually share them with everyone else. I don't think men should keep those for themselves. I think it's fantastic if we can share them.